In today's video, we're going to talk about the 5 reasons why you should start considering buying a Dodge Viper. The number 1 reason is that the Dodge Viper is still underappreciated. You know, back in the 90s, one of the best generations for automotive, you had such iconic cars as the Corvette ZR1, the McLaren F1, the Lamborghini Diablo. You had cars like the Toyota Supra, the Honda or Acura NSX, and yes, the Dodge Viper. And out of all these cars, everyone still talks about all the other ones more than the Dodge Viper. And the Dodge Viper was really a car that was ahead of its time. It has not been really appreciated in the automotive world. People call it cheap, people call it, well, race inspired, and they want to say it's basically parts bins. But yet, these same people will hold the Ferrari F40 on a pedestal and say how great this car is. Yet it has body gaps. Yet the interior is garbage. But yet people are willing to overlook the shortcomings of the F40, even though the performance-wise is very similar to the Dodge Viper. One is made in Italy, one's made here in the United States. And the one that's made in the United States gets trashed by the Americans the most. It's really sad, but one day I think people are going to really start to really appreciate the Dodge Viper. Number 2, the design of the Dodge Viper. You know, it was a modern day AC Cobra that really is really retro, very much a muscle looking type of vehicle, and exotic at the same time. The design was really race inspired. That's why the interior is the way it is. The car is a badass looking car, especially in the 90s. Every time you take that car out, people don't know if it's a Corvette. They don't know if it's a Ferrari. They don't know if it's a kit car. They have no idea what one is. And the truth is, a lot of people's never seen these cars in person. Why? Because they're very rare to really see out on the roads. I absolutely love the design of the Dodge Viper. Every time I had saw one, I seriously broke my neck trying to look at these vehicles. It was just always a car that turns heads, and I have so many good memories of this car. So I really do believe the design of the interior, the exterior on these cars was spot on for what they were trying to do. So that's another reason why I think the Dodge Viper is a car to buy, even to today. Let's talk about the performance, guys. You know, back in the 80s, you had Lamborghini Countach and the Ferrari Testarossa, and they were barely going 0 to 60 under 6 seconds. And then once a car did get to the low 5-second range, that was considered very fast. Well, in the 90s, the Dodge Viper broke that mold. As a true production car, not one of these 100 cars made. We're talking cars that truly you could go to a dealership and buy. 0 to 60 time in 4.5 seconds. The second generation did even better. 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds at 3.9. Some magazines will say the 0 to 60 time is 4.0 to 4.1. But the Dodge Viper has been tested by Motor Trend, Car and Driver. 0 to 60 times was under 4 seconds. The Dodge Viper with this big V10, 8.0 liter, a lot of torque. This car, you know what? It was a street car that was really a race car. Or should you say, it was a race car made for the streets. This type of car will likely never be made again from a major manufacturer. And that is a reason why you want to buy a Dodge Viper. Let's go to one of the most debatable topics, the value. Now, in my prior videos that I've deleted that all of my subscribers know I've said was the Viper value was going to go up. None of us predicted it to go up as quickly as it did, but that was because of COVID-19. We live in a global market and a global society. Unfortunately, due to this pandemic, sadly, the value on the Dodge Viper is in a bubble. It will come back down. And when it does, for anyone that's wanting to buy a Viper, don't wait, buy it. Because the values eventually will start going back up for the right reasons with the Dodge Viper. And when they do, it's not coming back down. Some of it will be due to inflation, but a lot of it is going to be due to people like me that's always dreamed of owning a Dodge Viper, being able to finally afford it. And more of these cars ending up in total losses or having other issues. There's not going to be many of these cars available. That is one more reason why you need to buy a Dodge Viper. Buy it because of the value of the car. Because eventually this car is going to increase in value, and it's going to be even harder for some people to actually make their dreams come true. Finally, the fifth reason why. You have people like Lee Iacocca. Some people's like, well, who's that, right? Ford versus Ferrari. Watch the movie. He was very much the reason why Henry Ford went out and got the Ford GT. They went out and tried to buy Ferrari, and it didn't work too well. Ferrari insulted Henry Ford, and Ford wanted to give him the middle finger. And he did just that multiple years at Le Mans. The Ford GT was part of a dynasty that Ford did. And that's why even the Ford GTs that were sold in the mid-2000s and the new ones, people love so much. Because of the iconic nature of the GT. And guess what, guys? The Dodge Viper has a lot of iconic racing history as well. So many that we can't even sit here and talk about it in this video. But one race was at 24 Hours at Daytona in 2000. The Dodge Viper won the race overall. That's right, guys, it was the overall winner, not the class winner, but the overall winner, and it made history. Thanks to Bob Lutz, Tom Gale, and also Carroll Shelby, the Viper was born. And to this reason, and for this reason only, this car is cemented in history in the United States of being one of the best cars ever made. With such iconic names and the racing history of the Dodge Viper, this car in the 90s was not doomed to ever fail. And I think that is a reason why, if you're looking for a 90s car, you have to seriously consider the Dodge Viper. I can only tell you, if you've dreamed of owning a Dodge Viper, when you have the opportunity, don't wait. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Because the Dodge Viper truly is an American legend, American icon, and it will be a vehicle that will one day be very difficult to obtain.